Often enough, before a product comes out, they have a lot of hype. But in this case with the Godox AD200, sadly, it sucks. Welcome to Art Deco Cine Lab. This is Rex, and if you know me, I am a strobist when I come to doing stills photography, and I love using strobes. Regarding the speed lights, studio lights, any kind of lights with modifier, it's just the way how I shoot. I prefer to have that higher contrast to really pull your subjects away from the background, or really just to balance the background when the bright sun is out. A lot of people have been talking about the Godox AD200, and there's so much hype before it comes out saying it's fantastic, it's lightweight, you can do 500 shot at full power, it's high-speed sync, have TTL, anything that you really want for a light to be for a portable setup, it is the AD200. So just like anybody else, of course I ordered one online and it came right after the pre-order is done, so when it's delivered, I got mine here. But I was out for a trip in Cancun, I couldn't really test shoot until yesterday, and this is my first impressions of the Godox AD200. Now, I shot for about 2.5 hours, and this really is my initial feedback of this light. Over time, it might improve a little better, but let me just rewind of what experience I have with Godox products previously. Like anybody else, I used to own name brand speed light like Canon and stuff like that. And then, of course, the Chinese speed light market just flooded sort of with Yongnuo. And I love my Yongnuo YN560 Mark III, and of course after that the Mark IV. They're fantastic, they're much cheaper than the actual name brand options from either like a SB80 or a 580EXs. And then of course after that, Godox came along, and they've really reshaped the idea of affordable, portable, and studio lighting in many regards. When Godox came along, I bought a pair of the TT600 speed light, and they're fantastic. They do high-speed sync, and you can have a remote control that just control all of your settings behind your camera with your little transmitter. I never really quite get into the AD360 line because I think it's a little too clumsy to set up with the battery packs and the light head itself. So I kind of go right into the AD600 when that came out. I cannot say enough how much I love my AD600. It is a light that is just big enough, but it's not too crazy. You can take it on location. It's just still have the batteries in the back. It's really similar to like a Profoto Air's brown color Zeros line, except it is only 600 bucks. Actually, I pay about $550 for mine. It is crazy how affordable this light is right now. It performs really well. Of course, it doesn't have the refresh rate of like a studio light that actually shoot out of the pack. However, if you're comparing that to like a Profoto Air B1 or like the Zeros, it recycled just as well and had a Bowen mount, so it doesn't have any kind of really expensive proprietary mount. It's very good. Recycle rate is fast, a lot of charges. I can go through like 2 days of shoot without charging the batteries in bright sun, doing high-speed sync, and then it might wear down to like a quarter left of the batteries. That brings me to the AD200, and I think it's only gonna be fair if I do like quick unboxing for you. Of course, it's already out of the original packages, so this is the carrying case that it come with the AD200. Really nice, by the way. Then inside you have the light unit itself, the charger, batteries. Of course, one of the really cool things about the AD200 is it has an open bulb light head, and of course the bulb is right here, charging cord, and it's even come with a nice little camera lens cloth for you to pick up the bulb and put it into the socket of the open bulb head. Then I will bring out the head itself. This is AD200. Batteries goes into right here. Have a little cap that you can pull out, slide out, and there's like an index at the bottom, just to line that up. And it'll slide right into place. The flash head is detachable with a button right there. Then you can put your the open bulb in there. Control panel on the back, IR on the top. You have a quarter 20 on the side and the bottom. But of course, the best way to use this is with the Bowen S bracket. And that's how I've been pretty much using it. Cheetah actually has a tutorial to how to modify the S bracket to fit the AD200 in there, because there's just like too much padding in the top, just barely a little too much just to go in, shave it down, then you're good to go. Now let me go into the actual performance of the AD200. A lot of people are curious about this light because it is just about to be the size of a speed light, tiny bit bigger. Of course, the best thing about this is compatible with any of the Godox trigger. The XT1C, XT1N now is out, and of course the XT32. So I can use this with the same trigger for my TT600 and my AD600. And if you have the AD360, that will also work very well. So the whole ecosystem uses the same trigger, which is very, very convenient. And the title of this video is The AD200 Sucks, but I think I'll go through why I love this, I like this, and what I really hate about this light. What I really love, of course, like everybody else said, is portable. The capacity of the batteries are really good. I was shooting for my 2.5-hour session yesterday. It still has full bar after I shoot, and I was doing high-speed sync and any of that. So it really put it through the pace of it worked, but it doesn't really wear down the batteries as far as the indicators. So I think the battery capacity is really good. And of course, the thing that I really, really love is the open bulb that comes with it. You can put in a much bigger modifier. It's just gonna fill that volume much better than a flash head. But going to things that I do not like about the AD200, and I think from my initial shoot session, there are quite a bit of red flag about this light. I was shooting with this on a sunny day in the afternoon, sunlight's behind the subject, and I just trying to use high-speed sync to pull the background at the right exposure and use the light in a 24-inch kind of deep octa. During the first look, we were shooting mostly at about quarter power with the sun behind the subject, and the cycling time was about 4 to 5 seconds. Since it was the first time I was actually using this light, I actually forgot to turn on the audible beep to notify me the light has actually recycled. I wasn't really sure until I actually looked in the back of the camera. Then I realized for every about 5 shots or so, 4 of them the light was not cycled. The good news about this is it doesn't heat up or overheat like the TT600. TT600 at full power, you're looking at about like 9 to 10 shots, and it's starting to go into overheat prevention mode. So it's actually prevent the light from firing. This, however, is still fire, but it just have a much slower recycle rate at that time. Then we changed the setup to go to like shaded area. I managed to kind of bring the lights back down a little bit to like right below high-speed sync rate. So I was shooting 1/200 shutter, also pretty wide aperture, 2.8 to about 3.5. Then the lights sort of behave a little more humane, so to speak. Now, what does that all really mean? So I think I figured out that the AD200, as much as everybody will love this to be an on-location portable light that can travel with, I can't really recommend it. If you have an AD600, you will know you can just bring the light out there, use high-speed sync, and you can just keep firing and firing that thing over and over again, and it won't really slow down. It is absolutely wonderful. You cannot do that with this. You just absolutely cannot. It just cannot keep up with high-speed sync. Now I can offer a resolution of what this light can do is if you have an AD600 or two AD600 and you happen to just want to use this as a fill light, that's fantastic. You can put it on the bounce board and bounce it around. Have plenty of power to do that in studio space, but then it really defeats the purpose, right? Why do you want a really ultra portable light to just use it in studio? Now, one of the issues that contribute to the problem of the AD200 is the price tag. If you look at all the lighting offerings of the Godox lineup, you have the TT600, which is about your $75 to $80 range. Then this sort of slide in to be about the $300 range or $350, depends on where you order it. Then of course you have the AD360, which slots in about sort of $400 price range with the batteries and all that stuff. Then of course you have the AD600, which is currently about $550 to $580. But then now you cannot use your trusty rechargeable analog AA batteries. You have to spend about $70 for each of the rechargeable batteries. You still have to buy an S bracket. And frankly, I think the price is a little high for just a really fancy speed light. I think if they drop the price on that to about $150, sounds a little more promising. AD600 sort of just live in this twilight zone that I'm not really sure how that can fit into my gear setup. Now let me re-emphasize that was my first 2.5 hours experience with the AD200. I'm gonna put this through a lot more shoot and see how I'm really gonna like it or hate it even more. I think right now the initial report about this light is not that great. And it's sorry to say because I really love the Godox lineup, from the speed light, studio light, and the modifier. I really do enjoy the products. I think they're releasing fantastic product at a really affordable price point. But the AD200, if you think about upgrading to it, selling a whole system, just hold on to those thoughts for a second, because this might be a really expensive mistake.